Okay, here we go. It's out of gas.
God damn it. Well, what do we do now?
Oh shit, the note.
What?
The note mentioned that there's gas in the courthouse garage and the dome.
Alright. Courthouse garage and the dome. So what's the plan for finding these places?
We ride around and see what we see.
You think Tommy came through here?
Bet he did. So, where are we?
Pretty sure we're here.
Ah, nice. I'll mark it up as we go.
What the hell happened out here?
I'm guessing the military bombed the shit out of this place.
Why would they do that?
They would sometimes destroy parts of the city that were lost to the infected, or to rebels.
That seems like overkill.
Well, it usually worked.
On the infected or the rebels?
Both.
Shit.
Believe me, you're lucky you didn't grow up in a QZ.
I'm starting to get that impression.
What would have happened if I'd stayed? I'd probably just become one more asshole soldier.
No way. I can't see you taking orders from anybody.
Yeah, good point.
I gotta say, I was expecting the Seattle QZ to be a lot more occupied.
Yeah, maybe they're all hiding at the Saravina.
How many WLF you think there are anyway?
Well, at least 8.
If we're lucky, that'll be it.
We'll be fine. We should stay alert, stock up while we can.
Ration Distribution Center.
In Boston, we'd line up for blocks, and the food sucked.
I go crazy.
Well, some people did. Come on, let's find a way in. Can you get through?
All right, I got you. Shit. Stay low. I think we dropped all of them.
Yeah, looks that way.
think that's all of them.
I don't get it. If there were still people around, they would have cleared this place out. Maybe. Let's find that gas.
Hey, Ellie. This place is a synagogue.
How can you tell?
One, there are menorah decorations on the wall. It's a Jewish thing. And two, I didn't burst into flames just now, so...
Burst into flames?
It's just a dumb joke.
Oh, unlike your other ones?
You shut it.
Shit. Latch is on the other side. Found the gas. Just need to get back there. Okay. Here we go. God damn it.
Hey, language. House of worship.
It's empty.
That sucks. Now what?
We'll try our luck at the courthouse garage. Let's get out of here. What were you saying?
Yeah, so... this place brings back a lot of memories. My sister was dragged to a synagogue the whole time.
Do you still pray?
Sometimes.
Really? When?
I said one when we left Jackson. I said one at Joel's grave. Sometimes I just say little ones to myself.
Does it help?
I think it calms me. Helps me put things in perspective. It's a way to deal with grief. A way to show respect. It's what I know.
This way.
Right behind you.
What's this?
Oh, this is the Torah.
The what?
It's scripture. It's like a Jewish Bible.
Hmm.
My sister would have flipped for this. The one we used in New Mexico was half burnt. All right. Well, at least they didn't just chuck everything. do you think of this?
That might work.
Ellie, careful.
It's okay. It's holding. Nothing to it. Come on, Dina.
Right.
$57.74. Are we in the future?
No, doofus, that's a Hebrew calendar. For the new year, my sister used to give me an apple dipped in honey. Ugh, now I'm craving it.
I hope you got where you were going. Okay, cross the dome off the list. Rad. Score.
It's peaceful out here, at least.
It's weird being in a QZ and not hearing trucks. Or gunfire and explosions.
My sister always avoided QZs. That's probably why. She just got more and more paranoid. She'd sometimes wake up screaming in the middle of the night.
That's rough.
We always had a backpack so we could bail if something happened. Never stayed. Hey, I think I found the courthouse.
How can you tell?
See that sign up there? On the building that says courthouse?
Oh, wow. Nice work, detective.
Mark this place on the map.
Worth a try.
Let's keep looking. Hear that?
I hear it. Infected.
It's coming from the courthouse. This is gonna suck, isn't it?
Here we go. Okay. That it?
I don't hear anything.
Let's find that gas.
Yeah. I wonder what it was like to serve on a jury. Bet it was fun. Sit down, look at evidence, try to tell if somebody's lying.
Just give me 5 minutes and my knife. I'd tell you if they were lying or not. Hey, little help?
Coming. You ever been to a courthouse before?
Nope.
You're telling me you never got in trouble back in Boston?
Oh, I got in trouble. But never landed in a courthouse. Parking garage.
Well, the gas is in there, right?
Well, that's what the note said.
Well, let's get down there. Hey, let's not leave without the gas. And?
Wait. We got gasoline.
Our luck's changing.
Don't you jinx us. The fuck Vedragate is calling to us. Dina.
Coming. Okay, let go.
Good job, babe.
Thanks.
Okay. Gate.
Could be a while before we run into Abby and her friends. It might be worth grabbing some supplies before we press on.
Good point.
Onward, Shimmer.
How you doing back there? Getting homesick?
A little bit. You?
Same. Miss having a roof over my head.
You know, I've always dreamed of fixing up a farm just outside of Jackson.
Why wouldn't you stay in town?
I don't know. I like the idea of real space.
Sounds lonely.
Only if you're doing it alone.
Okay. So are we gonna, like, raise sheep and milk cows?
Are you making fun of me?
No. It actually sounds kinda nice.
Really?
Yeah. Really.
Well, that was an adventure.
Haven't found any of them yet.
Hey, it's a big city. We barely started looking.
Yeah, I know. Just thought we'd see one of them by now. Here we go. All right.
I got it. You put in the code.
Hey, these old generators are pretty finicky, so it might take you a few tries to... Oh.
Sorry, go on.
Nothing!
It worked!
Well, no welcoming for me.
Or they're just waiting for us.
Let's look for a way in. Keep an eye on those windows.
Wolf. WLF. I get it. You see that? Infected just hopped that fence.
Oh, means we can get in that way.
Shouldn't we hear gunshots or something?
I don't know what's going on.
You have a code for this gate?
I'm not sure. Nope. No code for this one.
Shit. Okay.
Okay. That's that. WLF. They've been shot.
Maybe someone else killed these guys. The infected just wandered in.
Let's keep moving. Hey, found their gas.
Well, if we need any more, we know where to get it.
Guess they didn't make it out with their gas after all.
That's good, right? Shit. What the fuck happened here?
Tommy did this.
This? No way.
It was definitely him. He's one of the ones that killed Joel.
Shit. There's another one over here.
I don't recognize him. He was using them against each other.
How?
Joel told me about this. You ask this guy a question, but you don't make him say it. You make him write it down. And then you ask this guy, and if the facts match, you're telling the truth. If not...
You fuck him up.
Yeah.
East 1. Another gate code?
Looks like it.
This just happened now. He can't be far off.
Yeah.
Come on. We can get out this way. Maybe catch up with Tommy.
Yeah.
I know you said Tommy had a rough past, but... fuck.
I know. Are you okay?
It wasn't pretty.
I don't want you to think bad of Tommy.
Ellie, if I had my sister's killers tied to a chair, I'd do worse.
I hear you.
You get the generator. I'll open the gate.
Remember the code?
The one written in blood? Yeah.
Got it!
And I got this. Big question, though. Where does this take us? I say we find shelter and we set up camp. Maybe somewhere high up so we can scope out the area.
I like that idea.
Okay. Let's look for an open building.
Preferably with no infected. Or WLF.
Wolves.
Whatever.
I still have some of those almond things left if you're hungry.
Not really.
You should eat something. Oh my god.
What?
I sounded like my mom just now.
I'll be fine.
Get the other! Don't lose her! Go!
Didn't think I'd ever see you again. How'd you find us?
I asked about a dude with a bitch scar across his face.
It's funny. How many came with you? Just you two?
You can't stop this.
Jordan! You're supposed to be out looking for the other one. What the fuck is this?
You know the smuggler that we killed out in Jackson?
Yeah?
This girl was there.
What?
They're coming after us. That's why Nick was fucked up like that. We gotta get her to Isaac. We gotta tell him exactly what's going on.
Yeah, well, I just got off the radio with Isaac. And we got a new mandate. Kill all trespassers.
Oh, hold up. That doesn't make any sense.
Direct order, man.
No, let's talk to her. Let's figure out what she
I
knows.
don't give a fuck what she knows. You saw what she did to the others?
You have no idea how many people she might be with. This might be an ambush,
I don't care
Mike.
how many people she's with. We will find them. We will kill them.
Can you just think for yourself for a quick
Jordan, get
second
the
right
fuck
now?
out of my way.
Come here.
Are you okay? Mostly. Ellie. We should go. Somebody would have heard the gunshots. Look, she's one of them. Come on. Look at that later. Was there a TV station on that map? I don't fucking know. Come on. Fuck, Ellie. Go around. You flank.
Come on, she's out!
Let's go. How many guys did you see?
Enough. We gotta get the hell out of here.
It was this way! Move up! Clear the room! Maggie! Pin her down! Maggie! Fuck you up! God damn it!
Got him!
Got them!
You good?
Yeah. You recognize any of these guys?
No.
I want everybody down here now!
Fuck those shots come from?
I don't know. Search the courtyard. You, hold the cafeteria. I'll cover here.
Right.
Fuck, there's a lot of them. I told you. Have a look here. Fuck these cops. Steal their shit.
What do we got?
Oh no, over there. Ellie, get down.
Hello?
Where's Adrian's patrol?
Hey, you two! Trespasser's gone.
What?
You seen anything?
No.
Cover this roof. I'll check over here.
You sure she's not on the street? Did you look?
How would she get down there?
I don't know. Has this been called in?
Greg went out to Capitol Hill. He should be back at this time any minute.
Holy shit! Trespasser's loose!
Think that's all of them? Let's now find out.
What about this?
Let's try it.
Come on, inside!
Come on. We gotta get away from this school. Now. There has to be a way down to the street somewhere. I got it. Come on.
We need to get to the street. All right, coast looks clear.
Yeah. I think we're good.
All right, check this out. She's one of them.
Well, fuck her then.
Read the letter.
Jordan. Isaac's got us posted up on a 2-week at the TV station. Scars spotted in the area. Here's something to hold you over, Leah.
TV station.
You think she's still there?
We gotta find out, right?
So... spy all these tall buildings. That way.
Okay. Let's go get Leah.
You good?
Yeah. I thought I was fucked back there. Thanks for the save, by the way.
Of course.
So, those are the wolves. They're really armed.
Yeah, they are. Do you think there were gonna be this many of them?
Tommy said this was a possibility.
Does that change anything for you?
No?
Keep an eye out for patrols. There were a bunch trying to smoke me out around here.
How many?
I passed 2, but I got a feeling there were more.
And once they realize we're out of the school,
And that we killed their fucking friends.
they'll be out in force looking for us. Dina, fresh blood.
I'm ready.
Mistress of the Night Huangyan blends a mix of martial arts and spells that...
Welcome to the boss guide for the Mistress of the Night in Wutong Fallen Feathers. She isn't the most bulky, but don't let this fool you. Do not try a frontal
Ride for my little boy. I should have picked you.
Imperial guards fell before my poison. Your doom is nigh. You walk to your grave.
Welcome to the boss guide for the Mistress of the Night in Wutong Fallen Feathers. She isn't the most bulky, but don't let this fool you. Do not try a frontal or aggressive approach because her conal volley of 5 poison orbs will result in an instant corruption. This is a very dangerous move. Keep your distance, watch your spells, and hit and run. You can also bring poison healing items. Because her spells take time to cast, always try to get a quick heavy slash to the back, then obliterate and attack. In her second phase, the wolf charges and her ice breath becomes more common for frostbite, making stamina an issue here. Try to use your spicy soups if going for an aggressive approach, but it's typically better to hit and run and focus on your dodge timing during her scarf wolf charges. Good luck.
Bride for my little boy.
وبراويك الأشياء أو السبلات الفرق ما بينهم
Let's start by talking about Night Rain's ending. In this
Turn-based games never really appealed to me. At least not since I was about 7 years old playing an absolute hidden gem of a game called Baten Kaitos Origins for the GameCube. My most distinctive memory of which being when I was playing the game while laying in my pillow fort, suffering from terrible hives after taking a medication, and Alicia, the youngest. And each of them were taught to paint as well. Verso didn't seem to...
She paints a warning for us all of the afflict me.
What was Renoir talking about? What connection does the curator have to the paintress? And what else is Verso not telling the others? They fly all the way back home to Lumiere on Esquier and have a deserved celebration. Everyone seems at ease, all except for Verso. He takes a seat at the pier and pulls out a letter.
Brother, I tire of the conflicts and deceptions that plague our family and theirs. So, I entrust you with this letter. Whether you give it to her is up to you. Maya, it's a strange feeling watching you with my brother, laughing and smiling, without the scars or the memories that afflict me. Alicia, as she was meant to be, not this painted version that I am. My family, a facsimile of yours, and this world, a mirror, painted by your mother, the paintress, to stave off her grief. Seeing your expedition through would plunge us all into the abyss. For in ridding the world of the paintress, you'd lose the sole force standing against the one who would erase us. The one who invokes the flowers of the Gamache. An act of love. Your father. On her monolith, she paints a warning for us all. Of the few she can save as her power wanes. Your mother paints life, whilst your father, death. What will you paint?
With the paintress gone, nothing remains in the way of her loving husband from painting death, erasing them all in one fell swoop. After seeing Mael get gommaged right after everyone around her experienced the same fate, you're probably left wondering, what just happened? But see, that's where the epilogue comes in, and, well, you can just see for yourself.
You're okay.
you're awake. Come downstairs.
As you wander around the manor, now playing as a rather familiar girl, you wander into the room you're being called to. But before we step into this room, let's pause for a second. The game pretty much is about to rip the band-aid off, just momentarily, letting the whole cat out of the bag anyway, that this is in fact the first real environment containing the first real people in the game canon that you've seen so far. We might as well start from the very beginning to clear up the context of what is truly happening, what this game is really all about, and it's probably not at all what you expected. We know little about the real world of Clair Obscur Expedition 33, but it appears to be set in an alternate reality, fantasy version of the 19th century, this region in particular inspired by La Belle Époque. The game's version of the real world contains at least two types of special magical associations: the Painters and the Writers. These people formed groups known as the Painters Council and the Writers Guild, respectively. We do know that there's a conflict between painters and writers, but we don't really know when the conflict started or why it's there, just that it's very real and would end up being deadly. One painter, who would eventually become the leader of the Painters Council, named Aline Descendre, married a man named Renoir. With the power of painting, Aline was able to bring worlds to life in a canvas, and she taught this skill to Renoir. They painted hundreds of canvases together, and eventually Renoir got lost inside of one, immersing himself to a dangerous degree. The power was euphoric. How could it not be? As a painter or paintress, you are a god in a sandbox of paint. But if one were to stay in a painted world for too long, they could lose themselves. Aline eventually had to pull him out of that painting to stop him from basically dying. This was an important lesson, and Renoir took it seriously. Fast forward, Renoir and Aline have 3 children: Clea, the oldest, Verso, the middle child, and Alicia, the youngest, and each of them were taught to paint as well. Verso didn't seem to paint very much, though as a child he painted a world that him and Alicia used to play in as kids, which contained creatures he brought to life that were based on real things he was attached to, like their 2 dogs, Noko and Monoko, and his doll, Eskie, as well as gestrels based on his toys, and presumably the Grandis. As the kids grew up, and by the time Verso was 26 years old, the date was December 33rd, 1905. And no, the game does not have an explanation for why months go past the 31st, it just does. Alicia, by some means, began trusting the opposing Writers Guild, and for whatever reason, they used her naivete to do something horrible. They set a blazing fire in the manor, and Verso, in trying to save Alicia from the flames, sacrificed himself as Alicia had to hear her brother's flesh burning away in an attack that was most likely meant for her. Alicia, while scarred for the rest of her life and being unable to speak, did survive the attack. The Descendre family was broken after Verso's death. Aline was plunged into despair as she decided to go into Verso's only canvas and inhabit his world as her way of grieving. In this process, she painted further in his world and seemingly forced Verso's last remaining sliver of a soul that was still in the canvas to help her grieve. That soul was represented by this small, lost boy who was forced to paint with no end in sight. Aline just couldn't let go of Verso. She couldn't accept his death, nor could she let go of her idealized version of a family before the disaster had taken her dear son. She resented Alicia, blaming her daughter for Verso's death. Aline also failed her responsibilities as the leader of the Painters Guild in the real world and left her position or was fired. Renoir and Aline slowly grew apart as she grieved alone within the canvas, and Alicia, after the fire, was now missing an eye and was unable to speak or breathe without feeling pain. Clea, the oldest child, was an incredibly skilled painter and took all the weight of her broken family upon her back. Because of Aline's inability to move on, she decided to stay in Verso's painting, refusing to come out. She created alternate versions of each of her family members, but the alternate version of Alicia was ghostly and shunned, since Aline wanted to delude herself into believing that Alicia was the one who died in the fire instead of Verso. We call the alternate versions of the family members the painted versions. In creating them, she made them all immortal, unable to age, so that perfect vision of a family could never change. As Aline and the sliver of Verso's soul had continued painting the world, fleshing it out, they painted a lot of other people into existence too. Most of these people lived in a city known as Lumière, which looked strikingly similar to our real-world Paris, as well as what may be the fictional Paris-type city of the in-game world. While Aline was so stricken with grief that she was willing to fully lose herself in the painting, even if that meant dying in the process, her husband Renoir refused to let his wife face such a terrible fate. After all, she had saved him once in the same scenario. Out of options, Renoir joined her in the painting, with the goal of getting her out. But he quickly realized that he wasn't going to be able to convince his wife to leave. She was uncompromising. She had decided that this was her way of grieving and that nobody, not even her husband, could stop her. Not long after, a conflict between them sparked, and the two struggled for control over the magical essence of the world, what we know as chroma, which, by the way, means color in ancient Greek. After Aline and Renoir truly began to fight, the major fracture event happened, literally breaking apart and fragmenting the painted world, splitting apart entire colonies of creatures, and namely, the people of Lumiere. After the fracture, Renoir went on to create 4 gigantic entities, what we know as axons, for the purpose of perhaps being chroma sponges or reserves for later use. They were also very powerful. Renoir designed each of them to represent a different family member, likely being his way of dealing with grief. Reacher, the highest axon in the canvas, represents Alicia, a kind of hope for her to be able to move on in life despite the physical and emotional damage she suffered due to their family's great loss. The visage axon, said to be he who guards truth with lies, represented Verso, as his passion had always been in music, though he never admitted it to his parents until he was older. The Holler, the axon with dozens of buildings atop its mighty back, represents Clea, the sister who took most of the burden of family responsibilities onto herself after Verso's death. And last, Serene, she who plays with wonder, represented Aline and her insistence on showing herself only what she wanted to see, the wonder of what could have been had that terrible day never come. But as far as terrible days go, the painted world itself would remember the fracture as perhaps the most terrible. When it split and fragmented, the immortal painted Desange family, at the very least Renoir and Verso, were in the section of Lumiere that got thrown into the ocean. It's most likely that the painted Alicia and painted Clea were lost in the fracture in the old Lumiere part of the world. Another major change in the land was that Aline created her own titanic humanoid avatar that would go on to be known by everyone as, you guessed it, the Paintress. Every year, she painted a descending number on her monolith, starting from 100. But at last, we finally understand the reason. See, in this year, 100, painted Renoir and Verso, who at the time were entirely clueless to everything, including the fact that they were painted, began the first expedition. This was Expedition 0, and its purpose was to find the people who were lost, to find loved ones, a kind of search and rescue. Among the many members was a man named Simon, who wanted to find his lover that just so happened to be the painted Clea. After reaching the main continent, the group journeyed onward, but along their expedition, Simon went missing, eventually finding Clea, except, see, the Clea he found, unbeknownst to him at the time, was an avatar of the real one from the real world. She had entered the painting around this time to aid her father in stopping her mother to bring her out of the painting. And while Clea was in the painted world, she found her painted self. Repulsed by it, she corrupted the painted Clea by painting over her, and proceeded to lock painted Clea in a floating manner where she was forced to indefinitely paint a never-ending army of chroma-absorbing creatures, the ones you fight in-game, called Nevrons. After Simon found real Clea, the expert paintress that she was tricked him into thinking she was the painted one that he knew, and in order to turn the tides against her mother, she granted Simon the power to fell axons, which would allow him to enter the monolith, the location where Aline had just been imprisoned by Renoir. After Simon did Clea's bidding and slayed the Holler axon, the one which in fact represented Clea, he entered the monolith, passing through the barrier that protected the paintress, and at last he met her. But Aline didn't fight him. She told him the truth about their painted world, and that at this point in the whole conflict, she had trapped real Renoir underneath the monolith so he couldn't do anything to stop her. She also explained to Simon that Renoir's goal was ultimately to be the one who brings the gommage, to erase the painted world, all for the sake of getting his wife out. So Simon went under the monolith to fight, but ultimately lost in battle against Renoir and was corrupted. The now desperate father he was, Renoir escaped not long after, and would continue to try and figure out how to stop his wife. While Simon's fate was rather bleak, there was still the rest of Expedition 0, which itself eventually reached the barrier to the monolith right before Clea appeared. She told them everything about their world and what was happening, being at the very least honest, but then threatened to kill them all if they didn't go home and kind of just embrace their ultimate demise in the painting's destruction. The expedition refused, and it makes sense why. These people, as much as they were painted, didn't necessarily feel any less real than the painters themselves, and these brave people weren't just going to accept everything they knew being erased. They fought back, but all of them died except for painted Verso and Renoir, since they had been made immortal, if you recall. Even so, the fight did subdue them for a time. Not long after Expedition 0 had been sent out, a search and rescue went looking for the group. Julie, a woman who Verso loved dearly, witnessed him get torn in half, somehow not dying during battle. This insane, unexplainable occurrence was deeply disturbing to her, and it would go on to quickly make the others in the rescue group suspicious. After she and some of the other people of Lumiere captured Verso, demanding he give them answers, realizing that the horrible weight of the truth would never be believed, Painted Verso and Renoir defended themselves, slaying the group. Painted Renoir justified this with his son, saying that they couldn't trust that the other people hadn't just been created by Clea to trick them. Needless to say, when some random godlike woman drops a bombshell like, "This world and everything you know and love is just some painted fantasy in my dead brother's canvas," you're probably not going to take that very well, no matter who you are. Painted Renoir wanted him and his family to survive, and so killing people, the expeditioners from then on, would keep the paintress from being disturbed, which was his plan to prevent Clea and the real Renoir from gaining enough ground to stop what Aline was doing. Painted Verso helped Renoir do this for a time, but eventually stopped because he just wanted the conflict to be over. He was tired of burying expeditioners, burying his friends. The so-called gommage that Aline had warned Simon about previously was suddenly going to become a big problem. In the canvas, Renoir and Clea were draining Aline's chroma via the nevrons and axons, and Aline's power began to wane, too weak to fully prevent him from erasing all beings, namely the painted people in the world. This power shift manifested as an inability for Aline to prevent her oldest creations from being erased by Renoir, those who accumulated the most amount of life, even if it wasn't real life. It started at 100, hence why she wrote the number in the monolith for all to see. Year by year, it went down, and year by year, the people who were that many years old were simply gommaged by Renoir. After people began to catch on that this was happening, the citizens of Lumiere began to think, with their limited information, that the paintress was responsible for people dying, and that by her replacing the number year by year, she was directly responsible for culling people. Aline meant for the number to represent a desperate warning of her waning power, but they simply saw her as evil. Expeditions were sent again and again, year after year, to journey towards the monolith and destroy the paintress. But because the world was becoming ever more dangerous, their odds got slimmer each year as waves of brave expeditioners were slaughtered again and again by Painted Renoir and the many nevrons that plagued the land. Some expeditions, like Expedition 60, not only managed to, somehow by sheer strength, make it through the monolith barrier and meet Aline, but one of their members got so close to delivering the truth about their world back to the ignorant and isolated Lumiere before ultimately meeting his end, washed up at sea. The culture of sacrifice for the ones that would come after was instilled in the people and strengthened year after year. One of the most hauntingly inspiring examples of this culture was showcased by one expedition in particular, which went as far as to build a bridge with their own corpses, like ants bridging together for the greater good of their colony. But while this was all happening, with years of history and conflict being painted into the canvas, time wasn't moving all that much in the real world. And speaking of which, for the Dessange family, things weren't looking great. Clea was having to carry the whole family's responsibilities on her back, as her mother and father were basically AFK in Verso's painting, all while Clea had to tend to the painters versus writers conflict, which again we know so little about. By the Painted World's monolith year 49, real-world Alicia wasn't doing much. She seemed to be pretty miserable and definitely in need of some therapy, as she blamed herself for her brother's death and seemed very traumatized. But Clea, being the cold and calculated sister she was, had something for Alicia to do, and that is where we finally pick up with the epilogue. After waking up from a nightmare of Verso being consumed by flames, Alicia stumbles out of bed and hears her sister yelling for her to reach the end of the corridor of their family's manor. After she arrives, Alicia gazes at the situation her family is in. Her parents are motionless, both immersed in the canvas, fighting in timescales upon which are unknown. Clea's casual demeanor implies that the Painted World's past 51 years since the fracture had happened had gone by in perhaps only days or weeks in the real world. Nonetheless, Clea tells her sister to do something useful and help get their mother out by entering the canvas and assisting Renoir. Alicia agrees, and the two girls hide the painting in a dark, unknown location as a contingency for if their mother, after getting ejected from the painting, tried to get back in. From there, Alicia enters the painting, but panics.
See? That wasn't so hard. Wait, that's Aline's chroma. Stay calm. Don't let it take control of you. Calm, Alicia, or it'll paint over you. What an auspicious start. Well, you're about to be reborn in this world as one of Aline's creations. Have fun. At least this will keep you out of trouble until I get back.
For whatever reason, if you were to panic when entering the painting, you'd get painted over by Aline's chroma, which would cause you to be reborn as a random new child in the world, instead of simply being a painted avatar of your choosing. And so, due to a simple mistake, Alicia had her memories wiped, at least while in the painted world, and she experienced a reincarnation of sorts, being born again. But this time, to painted parents, in Monolith Year 49. These new parents named her Mael, and it's at this point that you're probably connecting the dots. Hopping into Verso's painted world basically right after Alicia, but namely without panicking, Clea found the rather nomadic Verso, telling him to watch over the reborn Alicia just to keep her safe, as she was going to have a hard time doing what Clea asked her to do as a mind-wiped, paint-born girl. Understanding the situation, Verso agreed to keep an eye on her, visiting Lumiere every so often. At a young age, Mael's parents were gommaged, and she became an orphan, growing up with many different families, many of which were gommaged all the same, as the oldest people that could exist was an ever-lowering age. But eventually, a kind man changed that orphan's life. A man which invented incredible things for expeditioners, a man who wanted so badly to save his people, a man who would do anything for those he loved. For Mael, Gustave loved her perhaps more than any of her parents could. And by the time Mael turned 16, Expedition 33 would be the one to change everything. Armed with the context of this whole situation, we can now continue on from where we left off, everyone basically dying. But is that it? Well, Mael, of course, didn't die in the real world, she just got sent out of the painting, which is what happens when a painter dies in their painting. They just simply wake up in the real world. But we continue where we left off as Mael returns back to Lumiere after having re-entered the painting. She maintains her form, choosing a bit of a different look this time. White hair. Mael finds Verso, seemingly one of the last people in this painted world who hadn't been gommaged, and they exchange a few words.
Alicia.
Actually, I prefer Mael.
I think I do too. But I'm not really Verso, and you're not really Mael, are you?
You're not Verso, no. You look and sound just like him, but you're you. I'm still Mael, though. Maman did a terrible thing, painting you into Verso's canvas, giving you his memories, pretending the fire only took me. But I'm glad you exist.
Your father was right to erase everyone. It's better this way.
Better for who? Verso would never have wanted his canvas gone. He loved Esquier and his gestrels and grandes.
It was killing our mother. Staying here so long in a make-believe world with her make-believe family.
Verso, now more jaded than ever, and simply wanting this world to end for the sake of the real Alicia and the real Aline, plays along, entertaining Alicia's optimism about her father. Despite everything, the irony is that Alicia appears just as stricken by grief as her mother, but most of all, she refuses to let go of Verso's canvas world, as not only is it the only remaining piece of his soul they have left, but she just prefers the painted world over the real one, because in reality, she views herself as broken and useless due to her physical injuries. Verso asks Mael a good question as they look for Renoir.
Your father was the one erasing everyone. Why would he help repaint everything?
I hid the canvas before I entered, so Maman can't come back again.
Mael seems to believe that just because she and Clea hid the canvas, Renoir would be fine with letting it stick around. But we quickly learn that this desperate father would not be willing to take any more chances.
Papa!
Alicia. Some of Eline's finest work. I regret that it caused you so much pain. I know it seems absurd to offer oblivion as recompense, but perhaps that's the outcome we both desire.
What?
Once we erase the canvas, we won't have to worry anymore.
No, Papa, see, I hid the canvas.
You will always find it. This is our only opportunity, while she's too sick from her prolonged descent into the canvas to return. I am not letting my daughter risk her life.
I'm not going to lose myself if I stay.
And I am not doing this again!
Conflict between Alicia and her father escalates, and she calls for Esquier to help her escape with Verso, after which they make it safely back to their camp. Then she desperately begins to paint. After Mael explains the situation to Lune and Ciel, as you'd expect, Lune doesn't take it too well. But Ciel asks a good question.
You can bring them back too. Yeah? Everyone we've lost.
With so much at stake, as Verso talks to different members of the party, it becomes somewhat clearer what the situation has evolved into. Alicia has more or less taken the role of her mother, refusing to let Verso's canvas go, now with the goal of bringing everyone back and forcing her father out so that she can stay in the canvas world forever. On the other hand, Verso is conflicted. He cares about his friends, but he also cares about the real Descent family and understands Renoir's concern for his daughter, especially after everything he just went through trying to get his wife out. The literal decades he experienced within the canvas just to save her from certain death. But regardless of these different perspectives, Alicia calls the shots from here on, and the team begins their final expedition, gathering the last chroma from fallen expeditioners to rebirth them into an army in the final battle of the canvas.
Tomorrow comes.
Waves of enemies later, you finally reach Renoir's
夢に覚め続けて言葉に変わる光はThe Imperial Guard fell for my poison 燃えてゆく獣に惜しみなく与える魂夢のあなたに As usual, I observe no May I have a moment of your time? I was performing research today and came across a puzzling piece of information. It stated that there is a specific time of year in which one can reunite with the dead. It appears as though spirits return to the living realm during this time. What exactly does this mean? Once an organism comes to the end of its lifespan, its physical body will deteriorate. But does this mean that there is a spirit that exists independent of one's physical form? And in that case, would that mean that Aragaki-san is... Welcome back, Koromaru-san. What are you holding? It appears as though he wishes us to have it. Why don't we gratefully accept? Now, let's return to the dorm, shall we?